The following is a Papi Chulo Radio original program. The views and opinions expressed in the commentaries and/or interviews in the following program are solely those of the individuals and are not views of Papi Chulo Radio, its parent, affiliate, or subsidiary companies.
Welcome to Storybrooke Weekly Mirror in Wonderland, the unofficial Once Upon a Time in Wonderland internet radio show, exclusively on PapiChuloRadio.com. Papi Chulo Radio, pop culture on demand. I am your host, Papi Chulo. During tonight's broadcast, we are going to revisit ABC's Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. Later on in the broadcast, get ready for a spoiler alert as we bring you the hit ABC series' Easter eggs and ratings. Please welcome my wondrous co-hosts. First up, she's pretty sure she's a genie. It's Brittany.
I will grant you all your wishes, I promise. No, I'm just kidding. Hey guys, I'm ready to talk about Jafar's hair. Let's get into this.
Next up, she's your master. It's Jess.
Hello. I hope you're all having a good night.
Yes, master.
Yes.
Oh my god.
I don't know what that was.
I don't know you.
I don't know either. Sorry. That just came out of nowhere.
All right, Regan.
The evil comes from within.
I don't understand that reference.
That was an Exorcist reference. Don't watch the movie, Jess, if you want to sleep.
I fell asleep during that movie.
Well, there's that. And she asks the questions. Tweedle, it's Priscilla.
Heck yes, love that reference, love this show. We got a lot to talk about today. Hey everybody.
I absolutely agree, so let's get into it. Let's jump into our recap of episode 1.09, which was titled Nothing to Fear, and originally aired on March 6th, 2014. So let's get into it. Here's the official synopsis of the episode. The Knave is released from the bottle by Lizard, and she is given the opportunity to make her dreams come true with 3 wishes. Cyrus and a reluctant Alice partner with the Red Queen to find and rescue the Knave, while the Red Queen is captured by peasants who want payback for her cruel reign. Meanwhile, Jafar has taken over the Red Queen's castle and learns of a fearful creature called the Jabberwocky, who he plans to ally himself with. Bum bum bum. Alright, so obviously we are revisiting Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. We're all rewatching the season together and rewatching this episode together, and I can't wait to hear everyone's initial thoughts upon rewatching this episode, Nothing to Fear, which served as the mid-season premiere when it originally aired on ABC back in March of 2014. So let's get into it. What was your initial thought on the episode? And let's start off with, why not, Jess?
I really liked this episode. I think I've said it before. I don't think that I have, a negative thing to say about any of the episodes. But I particularly liked this one because it really did show that magic isn't all fun and games. Sometimes you really should keep your hands and feet inside the ride at all times. Otherwise, disaster will strike.
Well, damn. Magic is fun when you're dead. I don't know.
That was something.
It was. I agree. It's a catchphrase from a 1970s horror movie called Magic. Google it and YouTube it, listeners. Priscilla, your initial thoughts on the episode.
Okay. Jess is a ball of sunshine about this episode, and like I can't knock it too much because it had like the Red Queen kind of like facing her, like having her comeuppance for being a terrible queen, and we had the introduction of the Jabberwocky, which is one of my most favorite characters of this like series. But I'm gonna take points off for Alice being such a whiny bitch this time. I was just kind of like, Alice, shut the fuck up. Oh my god. Like she's just complaining the entire time. Like the first time like the protagonist actively annoyed the shit out of me. So like, yeah. Take that what you will.
I'm going to go next because I'm going to piggyback. I agree. Alice's bitching was very annoying. And I get it that this woman has done things to you, but I'm like, oh, come on. That dragged the episode down a bit for me as well because it seemed very repetitive. But besides that, for me at least, my initial thoughts was, damn, this was a very strong mid-season premiere. There were no flashbacks, which was interesting. So it was the first time they sort of veered away from that format. And that was important because there was so much going on in the current timeline. And once again, or I should say, in addition to what Priscilla said, major props to the inclusion of this character, the Jabberwocky, jibber jabber jibber jabber. That she was creepy as fuck in a good way, and I love the Jabberwocky as well. So a great addition to the show. Brittany, are you team sunshine with Jess? Are you team bitching about Alice's bitching? Like, where do you stand on your initial thoughts?
I think I'm in the middle because if there's one thing I've learned from watching Wonderland and the Mothership Once Upon a Time is that you need to prove that you're trustworthy. And if you've been someone that's fucked someone else over a lot of times,
Not in the good way.
Yeah, I'm not gonna trust you just because you were crying like the day before about how much you loved somebody. Like you need to prove yourself to me. Prove to me that you're trustworthy because if I trust you and you fuck me over, like, shame on what's that saying? The fool me once.
Fool me once.
Yeah, that type of thing. And I understood though. Alice was just, I wanted her to get over it, but I understood why. Why she didn't want to trust her, why she didn't. But that's why I liked that Cyrus was there to kind of like bring her back and be like, hey, I can see in her heart and it's true. And Alice was really reluctant, but I think at the end she kind of let it go for the sake of finding Will. So aside from all that, I think this episode was solid, but you mentioning that this was the mid-season premiere, I would say it's not a very strong one. I think the mid-season finale was strong as fuck. That was a good finale to end on, but the premiere was kind of it leaves me a little underwhelmed. Not that great in my opinion, but the ending did make up for it.
Agree.
Dun,
First
dun,
time
dun,
agree.
dun,
Like
dun.
never agree, me and Brittany, but like in this one, totally agree.
Yeah, because I was a little bored watching it, but towards the last few minutes, I was like, God damn. That's what I'm talking about. That was a really good way to end the episode.
Well, there you go. Well, I'm excited to chat about the episode with all of you, but before we get into a thorough recap, here are a few reminders on how you can interact with the show via social media.
Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Storybrooke Weekly Mirror. Follow Poppy Chula Radio on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Poppy Chula Radio. Do you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns? Email us via contact@poppychularadio.com. Are you interested in joining the Poppy Chula Radio team as an on-air personality? Email talent@poppychularadio.com. Binge listen to your favorite Poppy Chula Radio programs by visiting poppychularadio.com/archives.
While you're there, might as well, give us a nice rating or give us a nice comment or two.
Or 5. Comment, review. We'd love to hear from you.
We would. Right, Jess?
Indeed.
Thank you. All right, so let's get into the episode. And good grief, a lot did happen, and we pick up pretty much right where the story left off. We have the Knave in the bottle, it floats downstream, and it washes ashore at the feet of. If this was the mothership, I would have said Granny. But no, it's Lizard. It's our friend Lizard. And, they were surprised. I thought you were stoned. I thought you were dead, and all this kind of thing. And the Knave slowly realizes that he is now a genie, and that since Lizard has released him, Lizard now is granted 3 wishes. Even though he wants to go and help his friends, Lizard has ideas of her own. Mistress Mine, my will is thine. Tell me your wishes 3. Bum bum bum. Was anyone surprised to see Lizard again? And were we surprised that she is now in possession of the bottle? Or that the bottle landed at her feet, literally?
Her costume was too cool and she's too pretty for it not to have happened. Like, she's, you know what I mean? Like, extras are really easy to kind of like disappear in the background, and she wasn't. So we were gonna see her again.
Yeah, I agree. Although I wish we would have seen a little bit more of the character throughout the series, as opposed to just the one time before. I think it would have added to like character progression. But that's a little pet peeve. So elsewhere, Alice and Cyrus are snoozing in their hidden love shack, and the Red Queen is there, and they're trying to figure out what the next move is. In the beginning, Alice isn't sure why the Red Queen is there. She had forgotten, what happened, and so they fill her in again, and they head off on their search to find the Knave. They're trekking through the mud, and they figure out that they have to go downstream since they found this stream, and that's probably where the Knave will be. And we get the reminder of the Once Upon a Time sort of mantra: magic always comes with the price, which I liked. I thought that was okay. I was like, good. I like that you guys are mentioning this kind of stuff. But as they're going, and searching for the bottle, and Cyrus and Alice sort of have a heart-to-heart as far as, what she's been through, what he's been through, and, Alice's disappointment at, like, good grief, we just are reunited and, like, we're thrust into another adventure. We don't even have the time to just talk. The Red Queen disappears, and they think that she has gone off to find the bottle for herself. So elsewhere, at the Red Queen's former palace, because Jafar has now made it his home, and he's let it be known to all the Wonderlandians that he is now the ruler of Wonderland. Jafar's father, the Sultan, is in his own little bird cage in the palace, and he's taunting Jafar, so much so that Jafar is finally like, I'm done with you, take him away. And in strolls the caterpillar. And it appears as if the caterpillar is now a part of Team Jafar. And he's been sending his men all over the land to find the missing genie, but he hasn't been able to find it, and Jafar's like, he's ready to roast the caterpillar, but the caterpillar fills him in that there is a terrifying ally that can help him reach his goals, and this creature, this monster, is known as the Jabberwocky. So we have our Alice historian on the show tonight. Jess, what did you think of the inclusion and the mention of this creature, Jabberwocky?
I really liked the way they did it. I mean, I wouldn't consider myself an Alice historian, but I was kind of like, okay, I was kind of like, the first time around, I was kind of waiting for it. I was like, I wonder if they're gonna, bring the Jabberwocky in, because that's like a pretty central part, I would think. Like, when I was reading over the Alice stuff for the first time as a kid, I was like, oh, I really like that. Like, it makes no sense, but like, it was one of my favorite parts. And I really enjoy the way that they brought the Jabberwocky to life on this show. I thought it was creepy and well done and so satisfying and different. I have never personally seen another adaptation where the Jabberwocky came to life in this form. Usually it's an actual monster instead of somebody that looks like Courtney Love's evil twin sister.
I was waiting for something.
I was gonna say
that
something.
Was good.
I was gonna say something, and then I was like, you know what? I have been crude enough on this show.
No, what were you gonna say? Now I need to know. I think we all need to know, right? And no one's backing me up, but I do need to know.
Let's not.
I'm hesitant, but you know what? Fine. Like, we need to know.
You know when you have that really dumb friend that sits there on the photocopier at work and photocopies his butt cheeks?
That's the Jabberwocky?
Yes, but like Courtney Love's version of that. Like that's
okay.
When she photocopied her ass cheeks at work. The Jabberwocky was born.
Okay.
Do we not
We'll go with it.
Friends like that?
No, those are your friends.
I need new friends.
You lead a very colorful life.
Yes, I agree. Oh God. Well, on that note, I don't even know how to segue away from that. But yeah. So they realize, Alice and Cyrus, that the Red Queen it has vanished, and so Alice is immediately to believe that the Red Queen, just wants the bottle for herself. But Cyrus is like, let's search around, let's see if we can find her. And then he I guess he has expert tracking skills. Maybe he's been hanging out with Bandit Snow or something. But he's like, there's rustling over there. And he's like, here's a piece of her fabric. There must have been a struggle. And so he knows a little bit of magic via his mom, and he does a locator spell, but it's a different kind of locator spell than what we've seen in the past, which I think is neat. As I've said many times on previous installments of this broadcast, I love the incorporation of like different ways to do spells and stuff.
I figured, like, we never really get to see what's put into a locator spell, so I'm just kind of like, yay, we found the recipe, like, here.
Or maybe that, yeah. It could be that, too. Now we need to do a locator spell. We need to locate Katie.
What, like, somebody needs to find a place that grows moss, because I don't think we have any here. It's so dry.
That's true. And we need a feather. Yeah.
And owls would do better.
Preferably, yes. So they do the locator spell, and the piece of fabric starts floating, and it leads them to, well, let's catch up with what's been going on with the Red Queen, because the Red Queen did not run away. She has been captured by some of her royal subjects who aren't feeling so royal themselves. They're stealing her jewels. They're basically telling her, we're going to make you pay, bitch. And so now they have her tied up to a stake, and basically I guess it looked like, I thought they were going to burn her at the stake, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I seriously thought the same thing. I was like, burn the witch. Like, oh my God, this is going to be super, like, metal for the show. This is Once Upon a Time. Like, it's on ABC Family, not HBO. What the fuck?
Exactly. They got Game of Thrones on our asses, apparently.
Yep.
But Alice is hesitant to intervene, basically like, what has she done to us? Like, we can't do it. But Cyrus is gung-ho to save the Red Queen, so he interrupts the mob, and he tries to persuade them, but they're like, no, we're an angry mob. She's got to pay, and do you have money, though? Like, we'll trade her for some money. And they don't have money, and so they try to fight him off, but they join the Red Queen by being tied to a stake. And once again, I thought they were going to get burned to the stake, but no, they are left with these sort of like burning lanterns, and they were left there in particular so that night falls, and the creatures that they say the Red Queen has unleashed upon them being the royal subjects, would then be unleashed upon the three of them. And these creatures are the Mome Raths. And the Mome Raths are attracted to light. So the lanterns are luring the Mome Raths in like a moth to a flame burned by the fire. My love is blind. Can't you see my desire? That's the way love goes. And so... Sorry. And so as they get close and they try to put out the lanterns and they're doing a good job of doing that. And the Mome Raths are getting closer with their glowing eyes and everything. And then all of a sudden Alice's pendant like starts going haywire and glowing at the brightest that they've ever seen it. And Cyrus is like, I've never seen it glow that bright. And so Alice like loosens herself up a little bit. She covers it with her hand, and then she like just yanks it off and throws it at the Mome Raths, and they start having fun trying to destroy the pendant, but they have enough time to escape. Brittany, would you have liked to played with the Mome Raths?
Yes, they're so pretty. No, I'm just kidding. No, those things were freaky as fuck, man. I was
Like-
I was scared for them a little bit. I was like, I don't know how they're gonna get out of this, but you know, Alice is pretty smart, and somehow she slips through those ropes. But those things were really
50 Shades of
creepy.
Hay.
Yeah, I think they did a good job with setting the that really creepy. You don't know what the hell's gonna come and eat you in like the middle of the forest. Like
Yeah, I like that effect that they used. Like we were like seeing what the Mome Raths see, so they had that weird effect, like we're looking through their eyes. I thought that was kind of cool.
That was really great.
Can you guys remember that the Mome Raths in like the Disney version are these little tiny things that kind of look like sea anemones and they're really cute, and we get that as Mome Raths? Like, holy shit, they turned that poem around. Like,
They know so cute. They know so cute.
they're not cute no more.
You know, once upon a time, universe likes to twist some of the things we love or think are cute. They do the opposite on some of those things, so I'm not surprised at all.
Jess, we know you love cute and cuddly stuff. Did you want to hug a Mome Rath?
After hearing all the negativity surrounding them, I feel like I would. I was one of those kids, like, if you had to pick a stuffed animal in class or whatever, and everybody goes for the nice ones with all, like, the fur still attached and the eyes still in and whatever, and I would go out of my way to pick the ugliest, scariest looking ones, because I was always like, what if they can tell that nobody loves them and that just makes them mean on the inside? Is that just me?
Oh my god.
Could be,
Okay.
but we like it.
But I really liked that scene in particular just because it showed that they really can get out of almost anything. I mean, one day, God willing, you know, they never do a series and it's like, oh, last time on Once Upon a Time in Wonderland, this happened, and then it switches to now and it's like, oh yeah, Alice died, Cyrus died, they're dead, they died. But I really appreciate it.
Well, damn.
I thought it was a creative way to kind of get them out of this jam, and it really made me curious about this necklace. Like, what other properties does it have that aren't being explored? Or maybe I just missed that part in the series twice.
I don't know. I don't
from my
really think there's
observation.
anything. I don't think there's anything special about it. It's just like our hearts are entwined. Like,
Yeah, it's just their love.
yeah.
That's what
I
made
think.
it burn brighter? That's lame.
Yeah.
Maybe she was, because she was like, oh, I'm going to die. I love you so much. I don't know.
Plot.
Our love shines brightest in the darkest of
Hashtag
times.
magic.
That's how I saw it.
Oh my god.
Magic, magic, magic.
I
There's
just
nothing
saw it
wrong-
as another way for Alice to be a bitch, because I was just kind of like, throw the goddamn necklace. Like, you have the man already. You don't need the little like locket telling you where the fuck he is. He's right next to you. Throw it away.
No, I saw what she was going for with the sentimental value. I mean, from personal experience, it's really hard to let go of something you've had with you for a long time that represents something in the moment. It's not like she had all day, like, well, I'm going to get rid of this. Okay, it's like, you need to do it now. Like, this is the last ones you can have with it, and you're going to throw it. And then she does, and then Cyrus, gives her another thing to believe in. Gives her something even more valuable. But I understood. I saw the hesitation. Bad timing, but I understood it. I'm very understanding.
Well, yeah.
I am. I
Aw.
just I take it from personal experience. If I have no experience, then I'll probably be like, "Girl, just do it." But if I kind of understand what she's going through, then yeah. Also, props to her outfit this episode. She finally had a change of outfit, and I really, really liked it.
The clothes horse came around again.
Yes.
Either that or she has a closet in
Yeah.
the Outlands hideaway.
Maybe. Well, I like the purple from the previous outfit, but I like this one more. But I'm not a big fan of brown. I would have preferred something else, but oh well.
Well, if she sits on something, it'll, the stain won't be as
No.
noticeable.
If we're looking at fucking outfits, I am still like my eyes are glued to the Red Queen's like kind of like outdoor outfit. I guess the only one that she has with pants on, like that shit is still amazing.
She's just flawless in everything. Honestly, she really is.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just like this may be getting ahead of myself, but like when Will is trying to tell Liz what he looks for in a girl, and one of the things he's kind of like, and she has a great sense of style. I'm like, you really haven't gotten over the Red Queen, have you? Because that describes all of her to a T.
That's true. Well, let's get into Lizard. So we have the Knave and Lizard in a village. I guess let's call this Lizard's village, is where Lizard lives. And they have a discussion about the wishes and like, what do you want to do? And Lizard is like, you know what, you should have a wish. And so he wishes that everyone he wishes for a big cold glass of beer, and everyone gets beer and all this kind of stuff. And so it turns into like, I guess, as much of a bacchanal as you can have on Once Upon a Time. Everyone's getting drunk. And so Lizard and Will end up having a little bit of private time. And Will sort of gleams from like her that she's smitten on someone. And he's like, okay, fine, don't tell me, but, we need to find this guy, and we need to, like, he's gonna fall in love with you, and, like, that's my goal, you need, I reunited Alice and Cyrus, now we need to get you with your love. So, upon, like, sort of chatting about this, she asks him, like, what do you look for in a girl? Like, what would you like? And so that's where he talks about, like, she's pretty, she's confident, like, he lists this whole thing, and, like, she's like, well, I want to be that. And so that's my wish. And so she has, like, a full-on makeover. She goes from tomboy to, like, princess at the ball. And Will is like, well, I think she asked something like, well, do you think he's gonna like it? And Will is like, well, he would be blind if he didn't have some sort of feelings, once he saw you. And he's ready to leave to like go search for this guy for her. But this is where she confesses that it's him, that he's the one that she has feelings for. It's always been you, Will. It's always been you.
Well, shit, like, couldn't you kind of tell, like, just not putting it, like, up the fact that, like, she disbanded from her, like, band of thieves and stuff like that to save him from the Red Queen the first episode, but when he tells her that I can't make people fall in love, she looks crestfallen. Like, she actually looks like, God damn it, I wish, like that was one of my wishes. So it didn't come as much of a shock, but you kind of feel bad for the chick.
Yeah.
Eh.
Well, let's continue on, and we'll see if Brittany will feel bad in a moment. So he's basically like, I can't. He doesn't. I wish he would tell people that he doesn't have a heart, because I feel like that would like save a lot of trouble. You know what I'm saying? But he's basically like, I don't feel that way, and this, that, or the other. And she's like, she's holding the bottle, and she says something to the gist of, I wish you would feel something for me. And remember, wishes are unpredictable. You have to be very, very capital VERY specific on what you wish for. If not, the wish can come and
Monkey
bite
paw.
you in the hand, basically, yeah. And so she ends up, crouching down to the ground in pain because she's dying. And Will gets sucked back into the bottle, and he has to watch her die. And she's like, I just wish, if you could only feel something for me. And of course, he's in pain by seeing his friend die right in front of him because of the wish that she just made. So, Brittany, did you feel something for Lizard?
I mean, it's a tragic ending for her because I feel like her whole arc was just to like try and get Will to feel for her, and I'm like, that's not one of my favorite things for a character with her potential, especially being a thief and having a really cool outfit. Like I expected more from her, but they literally just made her a really like a girl desperate for the love of somebody who doesn't love her or wouldn't love her. I found this entire arc or plot line in this episode really boring.
Aww.
I didn't like it at all, and I don't really care that she's gone. I felt bad for Will, like watching her die or whatever happened to her, but like I never cared for her. So
Brittany is mean.
Whatever.
I sort of agree with some of the points that you made. I wish that we would have seen Lizard more. I feel like there would have been a little bit more emotional resonance of her dying if we had seen the character more often. Like if at least she had been in maybe one or two more episodes, not even in the entire episode, but just like seeing her maybe helping them out or something, we would have felt a little bit more of a connection with her. I did like the storyline. I did not dislike it. I thought it was like a cute storyline because you could tell that she was really feeling him, and you knew that he wasn't. I mean, regardless of if he had the heart or not, his heart sort of belongs to Anastasia. So, I mean, there's no way that he would have been like, oh yes, baby, I want you. You are my lizard to my snake.
I think maybe a
no one heard what I said. Oh, that's good.
But I just want to say that how when she told him, like, describe to me what kind of girl you want, she wanted to become that girl and not herself. And I think I lost a little, I used a little bit of respect because it's kind of like, don't you want somebody to love you for you? I mean, there's nothing wrong with like, them suggesting stuff, like, oh, you should wear more dresses, or if you like dresses, like, oh, okay. But she wanted to completely like makeover just so he would feel something, not even like fall in love, just feel something. And I was just kind of like, girl,
desperate,
no.
thirsty.
Yeah, that's really like, yeah, like if he doesn't like you for you after all the time you've spent, then you gotta just let it go.
Brittany with the beautiful motto, like the beautiful phrases for our viewers. Let it go.
I mean, I know I'm sounding really harsh, but I guess maybe being 24 and being gone through some stuff, it's one of the things I think that we need to learn, like people in general, that don't change for you. I mean, for other people, like change if you want to, but don't do it just so somebody's gonna fall in love with you. Like it's. I didn't like that message, and then even so, she changes, and he still doesn't like want.
He doesn't have a heart.
Even if he did,
that's true.
The lesson, though, like it doesn't matter what she did. Like it doesn't matter if she would have changed herself. He's not going to love her. Like shit. Like we have this with like Silver Mist or Wind.
Silver Mist, yes.
Like that fairy's name is, and like we have this with her now. Like he's a player, simply put, like because his heart's been broken. Like, and even if he did have a heart, like even if he did have the heart, it's broken. It's not going to like beat for anybody else. Like,
yeah, you could say unfortunate timing for her because maybe they could have, but it just wasn't gonna go that way, and she had to change for him. He was saying all these things, and she wasn't those things. So either way, he wasn't going to fall in love with her. He was going to fall in love with the idea of what she was becoming for him. So it doesn't seem true. It doesn't seem organic. It doesn't feel natural. So I want better for her because she's a cool person. Go find someone worthy of that. Don't be friends with this guy, but let him go.
That's the thing, though. Like, we even had this like at the beginning of like the episode, that the Red Queen, one of like the remarks against her was that she's not going to do anything if it's not for herself, and she's going to like take the quickest route to it, and that's a bad characteristic.
Yeah.
And we saw with Lizard too, like if you're going to use these wishes and try and get like the quickest way possible to something like that you see as unattainable, the results are bad. Magic comes at a price.
Yeah. And her first wish was going to be, make Will fall in love with me until he told her that she couldn't do that. Like it was implied that was gonna be her wish. She was like, "Oh, okay, well, I'll keep thinking." I was like, That also made me lose a little. I mean, I would love to tell like one of my favorite professional players of a game I like. I wish he would fall in love with me, but that's just not gonna happen. But
Dream big, Brittany. Dream
I
big.
do. He's my age, and there's always a chance. But I mean, but yeah, I feel her. I understand, but I mean, I'm invested in him and Anastasia, so I felt nothing for her. She was just there, and it was more like of a sorry plot than I really hope she wins Will's heart. I don't think anybody was wishing that.
At least we got to find out that people without hearts can still feel pain and sorrow.
Yeah.
It's a really weird loophole. It's really weird, but I guess I'm okay with it.
Jess, I know that you like broken puppy people. Did you have any feels for the lizard dying?
That sounds.
I know.
I felt bad for her because, like, for one trade or a second, I did ship them because I could tell how much Lizard wanted this. But, like, at the same time, I was like, wait, what? No, like, it completely made sense what Brittany said. Like, she doesn't think that herself is good enough for him. She'd rather conform to whatever he wants, and he doesn't even know what he wants because he's heartbroken. He doesn't have a heart. His only experience comes from loving someone who turned out to be an evil, basically, bitch. And I'm sorry, I do ship the knave and the white and the red queen.
Jess, do you have a little lizard inside you?
I got something inside me. I have no idea what it is.
Oh my god.
For a second, I really did ship. For a second, I did ship them, but like I could tell that it wasn't gonna end well. I was like, shit. You should really just find someone else because this is not gonna. Like, I had such a secondhand embarrassment for her. I was like, oh my god. But at the same time, like, I've been in Will's position where I've been like, okay, like, tell me who you like, and then in the back of my mind, I'm being like, please don't let it be me, oh, fuck, it's me, fuck! It's not a fun position to be in either way. Like, I've been on both sides of the spectrum where I'm Lizard or I'm Will, so it's just not a fun place to be. And
wait, you've been Will before?
I've
Jess, you're a
Will,
hit and run type of girl?
Damn.
Only sometimes, but like by accident. And
how is it by accident? What?
Player gonna play.
I didn't really like. Okay, apparently the appropriate reaction to someone saying they love you is to handle it with maturity and grace instead of screaming "fuck off" and running away. But you know what? That's what I did, and the past is the past. So let's not focus on it.
I do want to say
coming
that,
later this summer to PoppyChuloRadio.com, Sex Advice with Jess, available on iTunes.
But I felt bad for Will because I was like, Lizard, why are you so fucking stupid? Why couldn't you have just wished for his heart back? I mean, obviously he would have been like, oh my god, my heart beats for Anastasia and a cheeseburger, but like she wouldn't be dead. But now she's dead, so I'm just like, that's why you don't fuck with magic.
I was gonna say for Lizard, like, I'm not against her telling him how she feels, because that's the first step into getting over somebody. You put yourself out there and be like, yo, I like you, do you feel something for me? But instead she's trying to get him to, like, she's saying she wishes he feels for, like, that's her downfall. That she
Brittany, that
wants.
is so mature and gross. I would just throw something at someone
Well, see that
and run away.
I mean, but we start off young. I mean, even when we're teens, when we like somebody, a crush, I mean, what's the first thing you do? Aside from, weeks or months of glancing at them in class or sending notes or whatever, the only way you're going to get through it is you have to go and tell them. And that's for closure as well. It's like, do you like me? Yes. Okay. Well, what do we do about it? Do you like me? No. Okay. Well, that sucks. And deal with it and then move on, But she really, really wanted it, and then she accidentally slips, and it makes it. She dies. I was like,
come on,
damn,
dude.
she dies. Like, why couldn't it just have been like a really nice resolution? Well, damn, I really wanted this, but I see that you don't love me. I'll make my last wish, and then we'll part ways, or I'll take you to the queen, or I'll, whatever. No, she gonna die.
I thought it was more effectual this way because, it showed that magic really don't fuck with it because I feel like during the course of the episode up until that point, she and Will had been using the magic and not really, I guess, feeling the consequences. Like, I was like, okay, like, this isn't so bad. Like, why is Cyrus always complaining about magic coming with a price? Why does all this bad stuff happen on once when magic is used? Like, it's not happening here. So then when it finally happened, I was like, well, should have expected that the first time I watched it. But also, do you think that Lizard really didn't know that he wasn't into her? Like,
Yes.
okay, I understand that.
She didn't watch the movie. He's not that into you.
See, but even Mary Margaret's character, because Mary Margaret did come out in that movie, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Like, when the guy tells her...
Was that her?
Yeah,
He's not that into you.
after...
Starring Mary Margaret.
when they tell her...
Yes,
though, like,
Jennifer Goodwin, yes.
He's not into you. Like, you should stop. She says, like, you can't stop, like, being in love with someone, and I'm going to keep trying. And I think that's what happens with Lizard, that, like, she just wants him to feel something for her. Like, that line, it like encapsulates everything that she was doing. Like, first I'm going to try and make you happy. That doesn't work. First I'm going to try becoming someone who you could like, and you still don't feel like not even a smidgen for me. Like, it's pathetic, but it's what people do.
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree with you there. I think it takes a while for people to actually understand that you cannot make someone fall in love with you, no matter how much you love them. Like, it doesn't work that way. And it works for you too, it doesn't matter if you're Lizard or if you're Will. Either way, it's really heartbreaking, but I mean, from Will's perspective, you can't argue that you want who you want. Or you're attracted to
the
who
heart
you
wants
want.
what the heart wants.
Exactly. So it's complicated, but there's got to be some kind of line where you're like, okay, I really put myself out there. I tried my hardest, and it wasn't it.
Well,
but
she can't come back from that line now because she's dead.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, and like you were saying, Jess, I guess we did need some kind of big thing to happen with the price of magic. Which we've seen if you watch, Once Upon a Time, it's there all the time. We've already seen it, but maybe here we needed to get something, and I guess Lizard was expendable, so
Her dress was really pretty, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She looked
really
gorgeous.
nice dress.
She looks
gorgeous. Yeah.
Her dress looks like the one that they stole for Anastasia. Do you remember? Like, back when...
Oh, yeah!
That's true. And
So,
she looked gorgeous. Yeah.
It made sense that, like, she chose, like, an outfit like that was chosen for her, because again, like, he kind of, like, maybe subtly wants to follow her wishes. He wants to fulfill the prophecy, like the thing that says that a girl that he could love, and that's the last time he could love Anastasia. Like,
exactly.
It hurts.
I agree. It's heartbreaking. I know I'm getting all mad at Lizard and stuff, but I understand it. Sometimes you are blinded by love, and you're gonna what are you if you don't do what your heart tells you to do, I mean, what are you're really disservicing yourself, You do need to put yourself out there, and it's really tragic how it ended. And Will got it. I mean, because Will even said it right. In the middle of the episode, he's like, "I don't know what Cyrus was complaining about." It's like, well, you're gonna find out, and he does, and it's just it sucks. It really does.
Yeah. I agree with everything.
I find it really weird the timing of it though, because like you get this real tragic shit happening, and on the other end, it's like, oh my God, Cyrus, I will accept your proposal. Like super romantic, like
Oh, that was
going
beautiful.
off.
Yeah,
and
I
people
love that.
fucking dying like in the next like half of it. Like you didn't even give us a commercial break. Like you just went straight from like happy to dying.
That was actually one of the scenes that picked up the episode for me. That proposal was actually really, really wonderful. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I agree. So let's get into it. So we have Alice, Cyrus, and the Red Queen. They are freed. They are wondering where to go next, and all of a sudden there's fireworks popping up in the air. And the Red Queen's like, well, that's from one of the poorest villages in the land. You know, there's no way that they have money for fireworks. And then they're like, okay, well, where there's fireworks, you know, where there's revelry, there's probably a genie. And so they head on off there to this village. They end up splitting up. The Red Queen goes her way, and Alice and Cyrus are going to go a different way. And while the fireworks are going off, Cyrus gets down on his one knee, and proposes to Alice, and she says yes. The Red Queen searches the village, and she stumbles upon an open door. She looks in, and there is the dead lizard. Not literally, but lizard is dead.
Way to make it sound like it's like a bugger, like creature. No, it's lizard. It's a dead girl.
And she gets in her feelings a little bit in a sense, and she even like shuts her eyes and that kind of thing. But then all of a sudden she looks over, and there's the bottle, and she gets very, very excited. And so we have Alice and Cyrus, and they're like, well, do you think she would come back if she finds it? And I'm like, I don't know. But Cyrus is like, yes, she will. And the Red Queen does arrive with the bottle, and she explains that it was with your friend Lizard. And Alice is like, well, what'd you do to her? And she's like, well, she was already dead. And so they don't trust her. They don't believe her. She's like, well, you can ask Will. And they're like, hand the bottle over. And she's like, sure. But she ends up rubbing the bottle before she passes it over. And out pops Will.
It was the smartest idea, honestly, because if not, Jafar can just take it, rub the lamp, and there go like the wishes. Like it was gonna have to pass on to somebody. And she needed an insurance policy. I was completely all for like her rubbing the lamp. They were being assholes to her.
Oh yeah, I agree with Priscilla. I think that was the best course of action for herself, and I think she's the best one equipped to protect Will because she has powers. I mean, powers are better than sword fighting.
Yeah.
And he wants Will, and I think when it comes down to it, the Red Queen's gonna fight harder for him than Alice and Cyrus will.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with those points. So the Red Queen insists that they leave Wonderland because Jafar already has 2 other genies and he needs a third. And upon hearing this, Cyrus is sort of like, 2 other bottles, and he's like, what do the bottles look like? And she explains that there's one that's like short and wide, and another one looks like an oil lamp. And he's like, those are my brothers, and we need to rescue them. And Alice is like, well, we are going to stick around because we need to reunite you with your brothers. They need to have their happy endings, and we need to bring happy endings for everyone. Yay, happy endings for you and you and you and you. Yay! And so Will is like, yeah, well, she's not going to stick around. She's selfish. We're going to be leaving. You're not going to have us. But then the Red Queen is like, no, we're going to stay in Wonderland. I need to give happy endings to all my royal subjects. Happy endings for you, you, and you, and you. Bum, bum, bum. Yay, so happy endings for everyone, we think. Well, but while all this is going on, we have Jafar in the palace, and he heads on over to the beheaded Tweedle that was his double agent. And he asks for more information about the Jabberwocky, and the Tweedle is freaked out. He's like, "Are you sure? You really shouldn't be doing, that, and you shouldn't be messing with that kind of stuff." But he's also like, "But there's no way that I can help you. The only way that I can help you is with the body, and I don't have a body." And so he ends up slicing the head off of one of the knights, or the guards or something, the palace guards, and attaches the head of the beheaded Tweedle to that guard. So the Tweedle gets the information on where to go, and Jafar heads on to this lone tower out in the middle of nowhere that actually is being guarded by a guard as well. And it's like this giant water tower type of thing. And the guard is like, leave, you don't want to mess with this. And Jafar is like, well, I'm the king of this land now, so you got to do what I say. And the guard is like, I'm trying to save you from death. And he fights off, Jafar fights off the guard, and Jafar is like, I've seen death, tell him I said hi, as he sort of Jedi mind tricks the guard to get his neck broken. So Jafar enters the tower, and all over the place there are these dead individuals, like skeletons, and like these bodies that are like made of stone almost, as if they died from fear. Almost like a little bit of like, like The Grudge and that kind of stuff. It was interesting. And then in comes this voice, and it's the Jabberwocky, and Jafar is like, oh, well, I'm strong. I'm mentally strong. There's no way that you can bother me. You can't get inside my brain. And she's like, I am already in there.
I already am. I fucking love that line. Like, and that music in the background. Like, Jabberwocky has the best
She does.
music.
She has her own iPod and she has little speakers. She plays her music. And so Jafar's like, show yourself. And she's like, I'm up here. And she has been imprisoned with this blade that is running through her torso. And so Jafar magically removes it. And the Jabberwocky drops down in a very animalistic kind of way. She cracks all the bones in her bodies, which Jess loved. And then she's like, why don't you give me that blade? And Jafar's like, nope, I'm going to keep this as insurance. And she's like, I will help you. And then she gets into his brain, and she's like, basically like, what do you fear? And like, do you fear? And he's like, I don't fear anything. And she's like, well, do you fear water going into your lungs? Do you fear your father holding your head down until you drown? What are you more afraid of? The lack of love, or the water seeping into your lungs, and all this kind of stuff. And then the Jabberwocky's like, you know what? You should keep that blade just in case.
Who is the master here? Like that was awesome. Can I say, I watched this and then when they said that Dark Swan was gonna happen, I was like, oh my god, we're gonna get shit like the Jabberwocky. She's gonna be fucking epic. She's gonna be scary and regal and powerful. And then we got fucking Emma with like the Halloween hairspray on her head. And like, you can say like the wig is like bad, but it is not as bad as Emma's hair from season 5. Like, so fuck, like watching the Jabberwocky again gives me life. I love her, and it just reminds me of how shitty that villain was.
Well, there you go. Jess, were you freaked out by the Jabberwocky?
I was freaked out by her freaking bone cracking. Oh, don't even get me started.
And you own that wig, right?
Like,
you wear it late nights?
Oh yes, I love to be what looks like Courtney Love's photocopied butt cheeks. That's who I am on the inside.
Yes, you are PoppyChuloRadio.com's version of Courtney Love. I always knew it. Brittany, your thoughts on the Jabberwocky? Jabber jabber.
Dude, like, I mean, Jafar's been, like, probably the most...
You haven't even talked about his hair.
I know, well, that's why. This is where I'm
okay,
bringing it
good.
up.
The Jafar School of Wigology.
Yeah, Jafar's been just fucking fantastic. Like, and I wouldn't say I have a love to hate him relationship. I just love him. I think he's scary. I think he's ruthless. He's
Would you hit and run
cruel.
him?
You know, yeah, I would. I don't mind. You know, with that hair, goddamn, like teach me your secrets. But
Panty
he
and
just looks
Profi.
fantastic. His wardrobe is on point too. Like he's so good, and I even love that they give him a little like weakness in this episode with just to show the power of the Jabberwocky, and like she is fantastic as well. I was like, are they ever gonna bring another villain that's like that amazing? I mean, I love the Red Queen as well too. She's more conflicted. She has more depth, and Jafar's just like he's just cruel with like a little like sad backstory and like okay, but I was like, are we gonna get another one? Like, what are we gonna do? And we got this chick, and she doesn't even do it. She just talks to you. She gets in your head and she fucks with you. And I'm like, oh my god, a psychology major. I was like, she's awesome. Just that just goes to show you how words can really hurt somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have that 60 stones break my bones, but words never hurt me. Like, bitch, words hurt, especially if they're the
Let
right
the Jabberwocky
ones.
chat with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's not just saying things. She's digging deeper and deeper until she's like choking you with her words, and that's exactly what she does to Jafar in that scene. She's not even touching him. She's just whispering in his ear, and it looks like he's like trying to catch his breath, and he can't.
He was
I'm
drowning.
just like, oh yeah. I was like, holy fuck! Like this is awesome. I was like, I don't know how our heroes are gonna beat how they're gonna beat that. Like, damn, that is some good stuff.
I completely agree. Yeah, it was a great, great scene. The Jabberwocky was certainly a great addition to the series, and I'm so pumped to see more of the Jabberwocky. So, it's time for the MVP, the most valuable player, the character that impressed you the most, and why. Who is your MVP? Jess.
Oh my. For me,
Lizard.
nobody really stuck out this episode, but I'm still gonna say that my MVP is the Jabberwocky. Because come on, nobody's that shocked. I didn't know that I wanted the Jabberwocky as a villain, but you know what? She's the villain that we deserve. Ooh. She is terrifying and scary, and she could take Jafar down. Like I think he realizes it, but even if he's like trying to play it off, she could take him down and completely destroy Wonderland, and that takes a lot of badassery. And also, she's scary, and I'm afraid that she might like come out from under my bed and
she's
kill
waiting for you
with her creepy little bone cracking noises.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know what to say. But I'm gonna go next. And my MVP is Jafar. And I gotta give it to Naveen Andrews. That scene at the end with the Jabberwocky where she's basically, exposing his fears was beautifully acted. For a villain that has been in control, who has been like the HBIC head bitch in charge since episode 1, you could see the fear in his eyes as the Jabberwocky was talking, and like we had never seen that before from Jafar, besides when he was a child getting drowned, but we've never seen this from adult Jafar, and it was beautiful to watch. It was very well acted, and we should all be creeped out by the Jabberwocky if Jafar is creeped out by the Jabberwocky. So, whose MVP will be next? Let's go with Priscilla.
Well, Jess took my MVP, but if I have to go with the second option, fuck. Like, I'm not going to go for the Red Queen because I always go for her. Instead, I'm going to go for Will because he was just being himself. Like he just, and he legitimately looked like he was really happy that people weren't hating him for once. And this is like the first time in Once Upon a Time that we get to see drunk people. So like that was entertaining as hell. Like, I like Will. Like he managed to add a little bit of levity in it, and he managed to turn the Red Queen around. Like it might have even been like reverse psychology here. Like, oh, she's never gonna do it, and then she proceeds to like do the opposite thing because we've already heard before. What's the best way to get me to do something is to tell me that I can't do it. Like, so Will's smart, and he's awesome, and he's my MVP.
And Brittany, your MVP. Is it Jafart? Okay.
Yes. I was gonna pick.
Oh, I
Jafar,
apologize.
But you picked. Well, I think with all of us on here, we can all agree that there's always like only 2 MVPs. But I mean, if we dig deeper, there are little
Caterpillar
people playing as well. That's true, but he ugly, so no. My MVP is actually Cyrus. I think he does a good job of being the voice of reason. Everyone has like high stakes, emotions getting in the way, and he's just here like, there's a bigger picture. Look at the bigger picture, work together, and get shit done. And I like how they're finally together, him and Alice, and but there's always something going on, and they can't have their like happy ending. But I like that they're not being selfish. I like that Cyrus is like, let's go help Will, let's go do this because I've been there. He doesn't deserve this, like he sacrificed himself for us. Like, let's help, and I love that. I love the selflessness of certain people, when they have it. I think it reflects a little bit of me because I am a lot more selfless than I care to admit.
Ooh.
So I see a little bit of myself in Cyrus.
Or you see a little bit of Cyrus in yourself.
No, I see a little bit of myself in Cyrus, and it's really great to watch. And I swoon over the guy. I love this guy. I think Alice is very, very lucky, more than Cyrus is very, very lucky of Alice. But either way, Cyrus is my MVP.
Yay, and I think we can all agree that LVP, the least valuable player, was Alice for her bitchery.
Yes, agree.
Okay, so let's get into rating the episode. Remember, we have a mushroom scale. We can go from 1 to 10. The point system is allowed, and of course, if the episode exceeds all expectations and you feel that it is more than a 10, you may grant it the golden mushroom. And this time around, we'll go in reverse order. So we'll start with Brittany.
All right. I'm gonna give this episode a 7 out of 10. I like to rate my episodes based on like, would I rewatch it again? And this one, it's decent. It has a really great ending and a really great intro to the newest villain. But I think all the other plots were kind of boring. So it's not something I would want to like watch again, like for fun. I'd probably skip the episode. So yeah, 7 out of 10 for me.
Priscilla.
Brittany took the words right out of my mouth. Like, this is
Was it painful?
a blah episode. Like, I could. This is the first episode where Alice is kind of consuming the screen in the wrong way. Like, every time I see her, I'm just kind of like, Carl, Carl. Like, it's that sort of shit where I'm just like, I'm really annoyed
Go to bed,
by
Henry.
this character. Exactly. And Liz, as much as like we're just kind of like, well, that teaches us to like not change for like the one you love. Like, again, she's a non-entity. Like, why should I care?
She's a non.
Don't change for the one you love or you die. That's the message I got.
The only thing that I gave a shit about was like when the Red Queen kind of looked like she was crying when she was just when they asked her like, do you have anybody that like would pay? And she has no one that she can list. So for that, I'm gonna give it a 6. Like, maybe passing in some territories, like, but not for me. So like 6.
I was gonna give it a 6, but I think the end it had a really strong ending, so that's why I bumped it up to a 7.
Maybe it's because I also don't give a shit about like, oh my god, I'm getting a proposal. Like, no.
Oh, I actually like that a little bit. So
like, I'm like, this is not some Captain Swan shit. This is like some Outlaw Queen shit, which is like, I like it. It's okay, but that is not what I'm here for.
It's what I'm here for, definitely. We have the one healthy relationship, and then we have the other relationship that still needs to get together.
Yes.
So we need some happiness on the side for me.
Okay, so we have a 6, we have a 7. I'm giving it an 8. I enjoyed the episode. I did like the other storylines. I know that there was some hatage of the other storylines, but I liked it. I liked the introduction of the Jabberwocky. I liked the ending, the whole scene with Jafar, and the ending with the resolution that, everyone's going to get happy endings. We're going to save the kingdom, fight to death, and all that kind of stuff. And I did like the lizard storyline, as I mentioned, sort of in my thoughts throughout this recap. So for me, it was an 8. It wasn't phenomenal. It wasn't bad. If we would consider sort of like the numbers that we're giving, sort of like letter grades, like an 8 for me is kind of like, it would be like a B, maybe like a low B. Yeah. For me, like a 7 would be like closer to a C, and I didn't feel it was that low. Jess, what about you? We have a 6, we have a 7, we have an 8. Where do you fall in the number line?
I'm going to give it 8 mushrooms, and the 8 is only because of the Jabberwocky. Only because of the Jabberwocky.
Because she's making you give it an 8?
Well, she was a really, Jafar is pretty threatening on his own. He's a good villain. He's a good antagonist sort of thing. But the Jabberwocky just added a whole new dimension of, holy crud, I just crapped my pants in fear. So
that's a lovely visual.
But other than the Jabberwocky's introduction, I liked the episode, but considering, what the show has already done and how great the other episodes up till now have been, it just wasn't as good for me. But the Jabberwocky made some of that up, so it's okay.
Okay. Shout out to the Jabberwock. Okay, so it's time to get a little spoilery. Let's dive into some Easter eggs featured in this week's episode of Once Upon a Time in Wonderland and the Once Upon a Time television universe. This is an official spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Check out our official Facebook like page by visiting facebook.com/Storybrooke Weekly Mirror. We're going to start off with the ratings when this episode initially aired on March 6th, 2014. It was viewed by 3.27 million viewers. Now, as far as Easter eggs, the title card features the Jabberwocky's Tower Prison. When Cyrus uses a locator spell to activate the enchantment, he uses the spell Locus Mirabilis, which is Latin for wonderful place. To lighten up the Jabberwocky's prison, Jafar casts a spell Fiat Lux, which is Latin for let there be light. The episode, of course, features characters from the Alice in Wonderland story, focusing on Alice's adventures in Wonderland, including characters like the Caterpillar, the Knave of Hearts, and Lizard. And it also features characters from the sequel, Through the Looking Glass, characters such as the Momraths, Jabberwocky, Tweedledee, and the Red Queen, and of course, characters from the Aladdin story, the Genie, Sorcerer, and the Sultan. So that's it for Easter eggs. So
can I ask whether this is true? You all watch the Mothership, so that background when they're walking through town, is that the same background as the one they're walking through when they're in Rumpel's alternate universe and Killian dies?
I think they've used that backdrop several times for just villages.
Yeah, I thought so too. I'm just kind of this seems familiar.
It's like generic town backdrop. Yeah. So on that note, Join us next time for a brand new installment of Storybrooke Weekly Mirror in Wonderland. Visit the Papi Chulo Radio archives to download this episode and many more. Binge listen to your favorite Papi Chulo Radio programs by visiting papichuloradio.com/archives. You can download tonight's broadcast and the rest of the series through iTunes. Just search for Storybrooke Weekly Mirror in Wonderland and subscribe. Please like us on Facebook by going to facebook.com/Storybrooke Weekly Mirror. You can also like Papi Chulo Radio on Facebook by going to facebook.com/Papi Chulo Radio. Help support Papi Chulo Radio financially by visiting gofundme.com/Papi Chulo Radio. Email us via contact@papichuloradio.com with any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns. Are you interested in joining the Papi Chulo Radio team as an on-air personality or blog contributor? Email talent@papichuloradio.com. Co-hosts wish the listeners a good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Have a good one.
Thanks for tuning in. Join us every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific throughout the summer for a brand new installment of Storybrooke Weekly Mirror in Wonderland. Good night.